All right. So, whoa. So, just off of watching President Trump being arraigned again for January 6th, we have another billionaire to talk about who is basically desperately trying to rearrange deck chairs on the Titanic. Elon Musk. He has hit an anti-hate nonprofit with a lawsuit. He claims that because of their reporting, that's why X, formerly Twitter, is losing advertisers. Not that they were jumping ship long before this because, well, it's obvious. It's obvious that he's allowing hate back onto the site. So, to the article. The glaring X sign on top of the former Twitter HQ in San Francisco is gone for now, but Elon Musk is determined to light up an anti-hate group for allegedly cramping his revenue stream style. Now, let me just... There we go, you can see all my head now. For those who aren't aware, they put a giant X on top of their headquarters. And not only was it a giant X, but it was not necessarily pulsating, but it was blinking. It was a blinking sign, which the residents around there were very annoyed by and made him take down. So, because, those things, blinking signs, especially in the middle of the night, yeah, that's not annoying at all. Anyway, in a breach of contract and more lawsuits filed today in federal court, the billionaire's X-Corp has gone after the Center for Countering Digital Hate for supposedly data scraping the social media platform formerly known as Twitter in a scare campaign to drive away advertisers. Now, I don't quite understand what data scraping is, but this was his reasoning for why he tried limiting tweets. How many tweets you could read per day. So now he's on the data scraping bandwagon again, only he's accusing this group of a scare campaign. Ever since he went on Twitter and he went all, I am a free speech absolutist, I'm the bestest. Ever since then, advertisers have been jumping ship because his idea of free speech means let fascists be fascists on his platform. And, advertisers don't want to advertise next to horrible, horrible tweets. So they left on their own. This group is just reporting what they see. It's not like the advertisers didn't figure this out on their own. They're not blind and stupid. Apparently, unlike Elon Musk. In direct response to the CCDH's efforts, some companies have paused their advertising spend on X. The four-claim complaint says CCDH's unlawful conduct, as alleged herein, has directly and proximately damaged X-Corp in an amount to be proven at trial, but in any event, at least tens of millions of dollars that X-Corp estimates it has lost in advertising revenues and other costs incurred. It continues. More fundamentally still, CCDH's scare campaign to global advertisers and its ongoing pressure on brands is an attempt to stifle freedom of speech on the X platform. Okay. Now, considering Elon calls himself a free speech absolutist and then goes off in such a way to prove he doesn't know what actually freedom of speech is, like cisgender being a slur. Um, you know, he basically is if he's not a fascist himself, he's fascist adjacent. He's fine with that type of speech, but if you're not fascist, if you're anti-fascist, then he has a problem with you. So yeah, not a free speech absolutist. But anyway, okay, let's pretend that they were pressuring a brand, which is every person's right to try to influence a brand's behavior with their advertising dollars. I mean, if they don't like the message that a company is putting out, they don't have to shop there. And if that hurts their bottom line, they're gonna realize that, oh, maybe if I do this, it's not good for me, so I will not do that. Now, that is freedom of speech, Elon. People are allowed to choose where they shop, and they have the right to decide to withhold that money to influence the behavior of a company. Now, this is claiming that this is a campaign to go after advertisers and pressure advertisers. Now, I don't know the specifics of this group, but it is a nonprofit. So, if it's educating people on the crap that is on the platform, or, like I said, these companies have eyes. They can see what sewage is being spewed and where their ads would be seen. And if they don't want it to be seen there, or if enough of their customers don't want the ad to be seen there, they'll just boycott the company. It's really not that hard. So what was there a pressure campaign? Maybe. But it's probably a pressure of, do you really want to be seen with these tweets? Or do you really want this to happen? Do you really want that to happen? And if the answer is no, they will not advertise on the platform anymore. It's really not that complicated. And so yeah, that is freedom of speech. You forcing advertisers to advertise on your platform is just not freedom of speech. They can decide for themselves. And if they see that Twitter has become a bigger shit show than previously, they don't have to advertise. If you recall, under Jack Dorsey already, Twitter was going downhill. So, as much as I want to just shit on Elon, not all of it is his fault. But since taking over, he's just made a bad situation so much worse. And can we just talk about the fact that he renamed it X Corp? X Corp. I mean, does he think he's fucking Lex Luthor? I mean, what the hell? Talk about an ego. To compare yourself with Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor would not be in this position because he's not that big of a moron. Anyway. Amidst the usual Twitter/X lunges, this way and that in recent months, the legal action comes just over a week after self-declared free speech Sherpa, I'm sorry, I found that amusing, Musk had his lawyers blast off a letter to the CCDH basically telling them to check themselves or the lawsuit hammer would come down. And now it has. Kinda. Of course, it should be noted that since Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion in 2022, In other words, just setting it all on fire. A lot of the guardrails on the platform have disappeared, some for good, some for just a spell. In that uncertainty, to put it mildly, as rivals to the platform proliferated, ad revenues for Twitter, which rebranded as X last month, have cratered more than 50% since late last year. In no small part to stem the bleeding, former CBCU ad sales boss Linda Yaccarino joined as CEO in June. So, yes, Musk is desperately trying to gain any type of revenue he can get. So first he made the blue check mark, which he thought was elitist. He decided that you can pay $8 a month for a check mark, because that's not elitist. Because it's not like the elite have that, have $8 a month to spend on a stupid blue check mark. So, he started off with that. And now, I read just briefly that he is allowing users to be able to hide the check mark. Because some people see the blue check mark and immediately block people because they know that those people are fascists. Because the people who generally buy subscriptions into Elon's Twitter, or X, are the fascists. The people who aren't asshats generally don't do that because they're like, yeah, not doing that. Sorry. I mean, Stephen King, the author, had to assure his followers, even though he still had a blue check mark because I guess Elon likes him, so he was going to let him keep it. He was like, I did not buy this. I did not pay for this. My account says that I paid for it. I did not. And it's probably just Elon, because he likes Stephen King, wanted to give him the blue check mark, which is ironic considering Stephen King is diametrically opposed to anything that comes out of Elon Musk's mouth. So, he started off with that. Then he created Twitter Blue, and he's just desperately trying to get people to pay for stuff that used to be free just for existing. So, yeah, a lot of people are jumping ship, including advertisers, because they're not idiots. And people see that things are getting worse on Twitter. If I go to my follow tab, I'm fine. I'm just seeing the people I'm following, it's fine. If I go to the For You tab, I'm also getting a couple of people who are, fighting the red wave of stupidity. But I'm also getting Republicans. And I'm, the Republican National Committee, Mike Pence, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ted Cruz. I'm getting them all on my feed. And granted, it's amusing to watch them, step on a rake, fall on their face, whatever you want to say. I'd like to keep my sanity, as teetering as it is. I'd like to keep it. So, I don't want to see that. But somehow, for some reason, the For You tab just thinks I want to see this Republican bullshit. No, I don't. So, the people I follow keep me informed as to the bullshit that's being spewed without me having to listen to their voices. So, no, fascists are winning on Elon Musk's platform, because unless you're under the Follow Me tab, the I Follow tab, which, you would think you're safe because, well, it's just the people you choose to follow. If you stay there, you're fine. You go to the Follow For You tab. And the same things are, it's not just that they are a lot of Republican stuff and a couple of people are who are dedicated to combating that stuff, but it's the same sources. Now, when it's people who are combating it, that I'm fine with. But I will be getting Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ted Cruz. I don't want to see that. Why do you think that that's for me? What is it? It's like here on YouTube. They're giving me Epoch TV. I did that little circle, what looks like an italics, to find out why, and it's just based on my age. Seriously, you think because I'm old, I'm a Republican? Anyway, I completely went off course there. Of course, it should be noted that I think I read that already. In that context, and before Yaccarino took over, a June report from the CCDH said that new research shows that Twitter fails to act on 99% of hate posted by Twitter Blue subscribers, suggesting that the platform is allowing them to break its rules with impunity and is even algorithmically boosting their toxic tweets. So, that would explain why I see the same bullshit. Now, I'm not saying all subscribers are fascists. I have seen one or two people who still have a blue check that aren't horrible people, but unfortunately, it's getting to the point where if you see a blue check, you know they're bad. And so that's why Elon is now allowing them to hide it, which kind of defeats the purpose of the blue check. If you're hiding it, then it's not the status symbol you want it to be. So, what's the point? In a post of their own on X today, the CCDH took aim at Musk over the jury trial seeking lawsuit. Elon Musk is targeting the CCDH because we're a leading voice exposing how hate speech and lies skyrocketed on Twitter under his ownership. By threatening us, Elon Musk is trying to hide the truth about his own failures. Like I said, he's just reshuffling the chairs on the deck of the Titanic, because seriously, they're just showing what's happening. If you don't like what's happening, do something about it. Maybe not fire half your staff, that was in charge of making Twitter not be a shithole. Maybe. But no, he's a free speech absolutist somehow. Looking for unspecified damages and an injunction from the court against the alleged underhanded CCDH, X-Corp's White... I cannot say that without thinking of Lex Luthor. Ugh. And White & Case LLP team tried to flip the script and damned the nonprofit for trying to quell critical voices. It has a history of using similar tactics, not for the goal of combating hate, but rather to censor a wide range of viewpoints on social media with which it disagrees. What is with people who spread hate and misinformation are the same people who whine when somebody points out that these things are hateful and misinformation. Why do they do that? I mean, if you're confident in what you're saying, then this shouldn't be a problem. But they can't actually defend their tweets, so let's just stifle the other side. CCDH's efforts often rely on obtaining and intentionally mischaracterizing data in research reports it prepares to make it appear as if a few specific users, often media organizations and high-profile individuals, are overwhelming social media platforms with content that CCDH deems harmful. CCDH uses those reports to demand that platform providers kick the targeted users off of their platforms, thus silencing their viewpoints on broadly debated topics such as COVID-19 vaccines. That is, yes, it's a broadly debated topic. Should it be? No. Reproductive health care? Again, no. And climate change? Again, no. In this manner, CCDH seeks to prevent public dialogue and the public's access to free expression in favor of an ideological echo chamber that conforms to CCDH's favored viewpoints. Oh, the irony. Okay, first off, COVID-19 vaccines should not be debated by the public. Vaccines in general should not be debated by the public because that's why you have experts. That's why you have science. So, obviously, if you have a legit question, if you're asking in good faith about the vaccines, that's one thing. But that's not generally what Elon has to say. Because if you've seen his tweets, you know he's an anti-vaxxer. Reproductive health care. Again, this should not be a public debate. Why? Because this is between a woman and her doctor. And if a bunch of women want to get together and talk about their abortions, that's one thing. But I certainly wouldn't want some asshat who knows nothing about me if I had had an abortion to come on to my Twitter feed and try to tell me how they know better than me. No. Sorry. Bye. So, yeah. And climate change. That's debated. I mean, the specifics are definitely debated, but human-caused climate change, the only people who are denying that are people with heads in the sand. So, again, and all of these topics, if discussed civilly, it's fine. But the people who are generally on the other side are hateful asses. So there's a difference between, oh, well, let's discuss, why women get abortion. Or let's discuss the minutia of climate change. Let's discuss, I have a question about these vaccines because I've heard this, and this. Those are all reasonable things to discuss. But when you ham-handedly go in there and tell people that they're horrible people for believing that you need an abortion for whatever reason, or that COVID-19 vaccines work, or that climate change is real, and they're asses about it, I mean, hate to the point of being hateful and pushing misinformation, then no, that shouldn't be allowed. And usually those voices are the ones who are only doing that. They're not arguing in good faith. If they were arguing in good faith, people wouldn't have a problem. Anyway, and the fact that they're silencing. I'm sorry, Elon Musk decided that cis and cisgender is a slur. How the hell are you going to tell people that this nonprofit group, that they're the ones who are silencing voices? You have decided, you, the almighty free speech advocate, that cisgender is a slur, and that tweets with those words will be will be deleted. So, sounds like you're doing that, Elon. CCDH's methodologies in preparing its research reports have been widely criticized as flawed. I don't know why that's in quotes. For using inappropriately small sample sizes and quoting data out of context. Oh God, my irony meter is blowing up. And CCDH has been accused of using those methodologies to create faulty narratives about the type and volume of harmful content on platforms. CCDH nonetheless continues to prepare its incorrect reports and articles, including those against Xcore, in efforts to silence users it disagrees with on topics of public debate, and now to cause serious financial harm to Xcorp. Again, if you're arguing in good faith, yeah, if you want to argue any of those topics, fine. If you truly believe that there is a good reason why climate change isn't man-made, okay, fine. Or if you want to talk the COVID-19 vaccines and you generally want to learn, fine. Reproductive health care. Again, if you either want to learn or if you're a woman who is looking for stories so they have an idea of what they're getting themselves into, those are all legit things to talk about. But to spread hate just because, you're a miserable human being, no, that shouldn't be allowed. Whether or not this suit goes much further or Musk loses interest and moves on, which that could go either way, remains to be seen. What is known, at least based on past repercussions against journalists and others who disagree or criticized him, is that Tesla chief Musk has a limit to free speech when it comes to himself and his business, which is true. Let's see. He designated PBS and the BBC as government funded. First, he called it a state funded site, a state news site, as if it's the same as in China or North Korea or whatever. And he's also banned journalists from the site for, not agreeing with him or for mocking him. Because, again, free speech absolutist. My backside. Anyway, that is all I have on this article. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this goes and how far Elon is willing to take this, because lawsuits take money, and he's already whining that he's losing money on Twitter and that he has to take money out of Tesla to keep Twitter afloat. So I don't know how he's going to pay for a lawsuit. Just don't know. So anyway, I thought that was a little bit of fun. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video.